Hello again everyone and welcome back to my allotment. It's about 7:15 in the morning. It's raining and it's pretty dark. And you're probably thinking, Jim, what are you doing down on the allotment so early in the morning? And the reason is because we've got a super exciting delivery coming. We've got a First Tunnels polytunnel coming and being built here today. First Tunnels are coming and they're building a 14-foot by 25-foot polytunnel right here, which I'm super excited about. I can't wait for them to come and build this and for me then to start planting in it next year. I've got all winter to build the beds and stuff and get the ground ready in the polytunnel to hopefully start planting next spring. This area here, it's a bit wet. Obviously it's been raining quite a lot over the past week, but it's pretty level. Hopefully we should be all right here, hopefully. But there's plenty of space for it, that's for sure. You know, there's loads of room for it. So they're due in about 15-20 minutes. All right, so we're all finished and Simon's just going to show us around.
Yeah, so obviously your polytunnel, you've got sliding doors at the front, double sliding doors at the front. So we have a little aspen staple on the front. We have a bolt just in case we don't put padlock on because we do a lot of schools and people vandal the polytunnel, which is really sad, but that's just the way it happens. So if you lift the bolt up, put it back in there. The doors just slide left to right, right to left, left to right. Same again. So you lift that up. That little runner there just helps it run. The little white runner, free running doors, drop it in there. Same as this one. Just helps it run across, left to right, right to left, same again. Now you're in your polytunnel. So it's tech screwed down, as you can see, on the hoops, so it won't pull off. That's how it wants to be. Your sheet's nice, also nice and tight. It's drum tight, so you won't get your hand behind it. If you do, just stretch the polythene, but you don't really want to do that. So obviously you've got crop bars, what run left to right, right to left. They just add extra strength. You can, obviously, I'm only small, but you can obviously put hanging baskets on it, strawberries, tomatoes, whatever you're going to do. You've also got your triple ridge, obviously them 2 ridges there. You can also hang stuff on, but just watch when you come round with anything, like a chain or anything like that, just pull the polythene up a bit and just hang off it like that. Also, you've got your doors as well at the back. Same, double sliding doors again. Obviously, they open from the outside, so if you did want to have a look, it's just the same again, same system.
Excellent. It is brilliant. Thank you very much. Really happy with this. Can't wait to get planted in it.
That's it. So yeah, we've obviously also we've left the skirts on for you. Just so you can have a backfill bark, soil or chippings on, and just seals the tunnel up for you. And then obviously we want to just have a look, show you these doors they're working, just to make sure before we go. The same system again, obviously, as I explained down there, aspen staple with the bolt. Pick it up, drop it on. There you go. Free running doors. Oop. But yeah, there you are. And then pop it in the ground.
Fantastic.
In your tunnel again.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for having us. Much appreciated.
Brilliant.
Supplied and
So
fitted
quick
by
as well.
First Tunnels.
What time is it now? 10 to 3, is it?
Yeah, it will be. It's
7 till 10 to 3.
Yeah.
Really quick. I'm amazed at how fast it's come up, actually. Brilliant. Can't wait to get planting in this.
World's your oyster now.
Massive. It's huge. Well, thank you,
That's on.
Simon.
Thank you very
and
much for
Scott.
having us. Yep, thank you very much for having us, Jim.
Yeah,
And hope it all goes. Hope everything goes brilliantly.
thank you.
No worries.
It's crazy to think that a little over a year ago, this new plot looked like this. But now, it looks like this. The new polytunnel has now been built, 14 foot by 25 foot. So let's go and have a look inside and see what's going on. Okay, so here we are. This is now the next day, because after they finished and left yesterday, it started to get a little bit dark. So we're down the next day. We had quite a lot of rain last night, so the ground is still very wet. You can probably hear my feet are getting stuck in the mud. Hopefully over the next few weeks in here will dry out. I think because there was so much plastic buried under the soil's quite waterlogged. There's still some on this side. Plus, we've got all that water coming off the roof and running down the sides and not being able to go anywhere else. So it's all gathered on either side of the polytunnel. And yeah, because there's plastic under here still, it's not has anywhere to go. So I will have to do some work on the outside of the polytunnel to remove more plastic sheets. So what I've done, just quickly actually, just before filming this video, I buried some of the overlapping plastic on the sides and the front. I still need to do the back side over there. It's still quite wet over there, so I've left that bit. That's just to close the polytunnel up. It's not a thing to keep it secured like with a budget polytunnel. It's just to close it up because, you know, the hoops go 2 foot into the ground. There's anchor plates, so it's not going anywhere. You know, it's pretty sturdy. You know, it's not moving at all, and you can actually, I can do pull-ups and it doesn't move anywhere. So proper sturdy. The pipes are really thick. There's anchor plates, there's storm braces. The battens down here, you may be able to see that they're out of line. The ones on the left there are slightly higher than the ones on the right. That's simply because this ground does slope slightly, so that's just how it's leveled. So, you know, no problems at all. The polythene is attached to these battens and then it's hammered down to keep the polytunnel sheet really, really tight. So I'm actually really surprised how quick they got this thing built. They arrived at 7:30, they started working at like 10 to 8, and by 2:45 in the afternoon they were finished and they were off on their way. The guys were proper nice as well, I had a good chat and a good laugh with them. And yeah, I was really, really happy with the job they did. They've done a really good job. If I were to do this, it would take me weeks, and I'd probably have it really wonky and not built properly if I was doing it, to be honest. So I'm really grateful that they came and built this polytunnel for me. As for the size, it's much bigger than I imagined. I mean, I know I measured out with a tape measure 14 foot by 25 foot. You know, it's a pretty good size, but now that it's actually here, I actually can't believe how big it really is. It's much bigger than I thought. I can't even touch the ceiling, and I'm 6'3". And even when I come to one side, you know, I've still got a bit of headroom. So that's really good if you're growing tall crops like tomatoes and things like that. You've got plenty of space to do it, and I'm actually going to attach some strings and stuff to these bars here to grow tomatoes up, so that is ideal. So I'm super happy with this. I'm over the moon actually. This is going to be a very, very good growing space next year and for many years to come. The builders said that I would easily get 10 years life out of this polythene cover before it needs replacing. If I look after it, you know, give it a quick clean every year, make sure there's no algae on it. If there's any holes, repair them. They gave me some repair tape to patch them up if I need to do that. So what is my plan for this polytunnel? Well, the ground's very wet, it's contaminated with plastic, bindweed, all sorts of stuff. So what I want to do is dig it out about 2 feet, just the top layer that is contaminated. I'm going to dig it out, put it in the middle here, and then let it dry out for a bit more, and then sieve it with my DIY trommel back into the ground again. And yeah, I'm only going to be sieving where I'm having my beds obviously, and my plan is to have a 2-foot bed on this side of the polytunnel. I'm going to have it about 1/2 foot away from the side of the polytunnel though, you know, so I can get the height, because if I have plants too close to the edge, you know, they might come up where the hoops start and where it bends. So a 2-foot bed running the full length here, which is 7.6 meters, and then I'm going to have a 2-foot path here, membrane, wood chip, all that stuff, because I like my wood chip paths. And then in the middle, I'm going to have a 4-foot wide bed, because I can access that from both sides, so it can be a bit wider, but it's not going to be as long. It's not going to run the full length like the bed on the side. It's going to run about 5 or 6 meters, because I want some space at the front where I can sit, or where I can have a table that pops up to do some potting. You know, if I'm going to do some work before potting them into the ground, just a pop-up table that folds away somewhere, but I want a little bit of space there. And then another 2-foot path again, membrane, wood chip, and then a 2-foot bed running this full length as well, the exact same as on the other side. A 3-bed system, that is what I want to do. The beds themselves, I'm going to have them just 6 inches high, not 12 inches like a lot of the beds on my plot over there, the outdoor beds, just 6 inches, because I want to use the in-ground soil, because it's pretty good soil. There's quite a lot of organic matter in it, in fact. It's just all the plastic that's in it. I need to attach some guttering to at least this side of the polytunnel, because there's a heck of a lot of water that runs off this thing. I've worked out that it would accumulate around 325 litres of water every 10 mil of rain that falls. And the average rainfall in December for my region in the country, for my area, is 129 millimetres of rain for December. That's the average. That would mean that for this 14-foot by 25-foot polytunnel, it would accumulate around 4 tonnes or 4,000 litres of water based on 129 millimetres of rain in December. if I were to connect them up to water butts and stuff. So that is a ridiculous amount of rain, a lot of water, and it needs to go somewhere. In our case, it's going to be going down the side onto the path here, outside the polytunnel, and also outside here as well. So I think I need to at least put some guttering on and direct the water away from the plot somewhere, you know, maybe to one side of the plot so it doesn't accumulate around the polytunnel. Because if it floods, it's going to come in the polytunnel. Another thing which I really like as well, which they include when you buy a polytunnel from them, is this lucky bag, which contains lots of very useful things. But the thing I like the most is this crop wheel here, which tells you, well, it's a guide for growing in a polytunnel, and it's got loads of different crops around the outside, and then when you turn it, it tells you all the different things for each crop, like sowing time, how long it takes to germinate, how long it is before you harvest them, and all the plant spacing and how deep you need to plant the seed, and all sorts of different things. So I found this very, very cool. Actually, this is probably my favourite thing in the lucky bag, but there's lots of other nice things as well. But you've actually got a polytunnel growing guide, an entire book dedicated to growing plants in a polytunnel, which I think is really good, and I'll actually be giving this a read as well. I'm sure I'll definitely be learning some things from that, because growing things in a polytunnel is much different from growing things outside, and in fact it's different from growing things in a greenhouse. Actually, you've also got a sowing and planting calendar as well, which is nice. You've got some tomato seeds as well, Alicante, nice variety to get you started off. Tomatoes are great for growing in a polytunnel. And you've got a tea bag as well, a Tetley's tea bag, which is for just having a nice cup of tea in your polytunnel, or sitting down and reading the instruction manual before you start constructing your polytunnel. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch there, nice little thing to include. So I'm really happy about this polytunnel. The quality is brilliant, it's sturdy, it's strong. It's going to be here for many years, and it will provide me with many years of crops, and it'll allow me to grow all year round as well. So a massive thank you to First Tunnels for supplying and building this polytunnel. I must say I would be pretty useless building this polytunnel myself. It would have taken me weeks, and it probably would have been all wonky and not straight if I had tried to do it. So I'm really grateful that they came and built it for me. So a massive thank you to them for doing that. So I'll leave a link down in the description below if you want to go and check First Tunnels polytunnels out and buy a polytunnel like this for yourself. This polytunnel was about £1,500, and yes, that's a lot of money, but for the quality and the strength that you're getting from this polytunnel and the many years of use, it's a very good investment in my opinion. If you were to go and buy a greenhouse the same size as this, you're talking thousands of pounds more. You know, you can get greenhouses this size at like £10,000–15,000. So it costs much less to buy a polytunnel. No, it's not your cheap budget polytunnel that's like £200, but it's much bigger, it's much stronger, the poles are much thicker. You know, everything's just better quality and much stronger, and you'll get many more years of life out of it, and maintenance is going to be much lower as well. So if you want to invest a bit of money in your garden or your allotment, First Tunnels polytunnel might be a very good option for you. So I'd like to say a massive thank you once again to First Tunnels for supplying and building this polytunnel for me. I'm over the moon with it, it is brilliant, and I can't wait to get growing in it. So I think that wraps up this video. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Happy gardening and stay safe.